Tonight, new reaction to the much-anticipated speech from Donald Trump, announcing a 10-point plan to reform the U.S. immigration system. And central to that plan, building a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Number one, are you ready? Are you ready? We will build a great wall along the southern border. And Mexico will pay for the wall. On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
Mark Krikorian is the executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, and he has been critical of Mr. Trump on the immigration issue. So, Mark, tonight, 10-point plan. He talks about building a wall. He talks about zero tolerance for catch and release for criminal aliens who are here in the country. He talks about taking away funding for sanctuary cities. I mean, were there things in his plan tonight that changed your perception at all of his plans?
Oh, yeah, no, clearly, because my concern was over the past couple of weeks that he was, maybe backsliding, or even more importantly, he hadn't really decided what he believed in, what his immigration plan was, because they were meandering all over the place, he and other members of the campaign over the past couple weeks. Are they going to have an amnesty, all that kind of stuff? That was very disturbing, and what we saw today was a pretty coherent, detailed immigration platform that holds together and that doesn't have the idea we're going to be rounding up all 11 million illegal immigrants tomorrow. That was never going to happen. And so what we have is the real world version that's necessary to control immigration. And the other thing that's important is that he seems to have, I think, did a good job of getting away from Mexico bashing, because Mexico's the most important country in the world to us after Canada.
Well,
much more important than Ukraine or Syria,
right.
And so it was important that he got away from that.
It seemed like earlier today when he met with the president there, he was very complimentary of the people, of the country. He talked about the shared challenges of the two countries together. There wasn't a lot of bashing. But then tonight when we saw him back on the stage, there was definitely the hard line about Mexico, and again saying they're going to pay for the wall, when the president down there had tweeted out, I told him up front in the meeting, we're not going to pay for the wall. I mean, there were definitely two different versions of how he was presenting these issues today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they're taking warm showers together, the two of them, but the fact is that
would be a story.
That he dealt with the Mexican president as in a professional and respectful way. But he also made the point, and he didn't put it this way, but I think this is what he was saying, is that being pro-American doesn't mean you're anti-Mexico. And that's an important distinction to make. Being for immigration controls and for border controls does not mean you have to be anti-Mexico. Some people are, but you don't have to be. And what he was saying is that we can be pro-Mexico. Make Mexico great again, too, was on some of those hats they were wearing. At the same time, defend American workers and American sovereignty.
Well, it was sort of a new tone in hearing him talk about that in a collaborative way today. Mark Krikorian, great to see you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, here now, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. He is the sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona. He spoke at the Trump event there tonight. Sheriff, a lot of meat there, 10 different points laid out. What do you need to make your community safer, to make your job easier for you and other law enforcement officers out there?
Well, we have to get Donald Trump elected president, step number one. I was a regional director in Mexico City for the U.S. Drug Enforcement. I had to deal with the president and top officials, and we got along okay if you have mutual trust, exchanged ideas, and that's what Donald Trump did. This is a great day for both countries when he took the invitation from the president of Mexico, went down there, had the guts to go deep in the heart of Mexico. It is somewhat dangerous in Mexico these days. And he had a great cordial meeting Doesn't mean you have to agree with everybody, but don't forget, he has a background in business in foreign countries, and he knows how to make a deal. What's wrong with making a deal and sitting down with people that you may not agree with and come to some final understanding? So I think this is a great day, not only for Mexico and the U.S., and I hope that Hillary understands what went on today. Instead of criticizing Donald Trump, that he should be more concerned with Arizona and not Mexico. Where do you think all the drugs come from? Where do the illegal immigrants come from? You go to the source country. You go to Mexico to stop it before it gets into our country. And as Secretary of State, how many times has she ever been to Mexico City to put some pressure on that country to stop this drug illegal immigration problem?
How do you respond today to the conversation that they had down in Mexico about the fact that illegal immigration is going on both sides, that the illegal trafficking of drugs and money and people, it's going in both directions? They seem to agree on that point today, that there's a problem on both sides of the border. Accurate or not?
Yeah, okay, there's been gun smuggling, we know that, but I don't think it even reaches a stage of all the drugs coming across our country. Sure, it works both ways, but they have to bring that subject up, and I'm not saying that it's not serious to smuggle guns into Mexico. On the other hand, we have a bigger problem with Mexico on all the drugs and the illegal immigration coming across that border into our country. So I understand, work together. I'd like to send a border patrol across the border or the Army working together with the Mexican government like I used to do, working with the Mexican Army, and try to stop this problem working together across the border in Mexico before it affects our border in our United States.
Well, Sheriff, it sounded like they were working towards having those conversations and being cooperative about those really tough issues, and I know that would make your job a little bit easier. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Trump tonight made the point that when it comes to paying the price for illegal immigration, some of the workers hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanics here in the U.S. Our panel is next with a must-see debate on that.
There will be no amnesty. Our message to the world will be this: you cannot obtain legal status or become a citizen of the United States by illegally entering our country. Can't do it.